Rain lashed against the corrugated iron roof, each drop a hammer blow against the silence. The relentless downpour created a symphony of chaos, a stark contrast to the eerie stillness within the warehouse. The warehouse, shrouded in the damp gloom of the approaching twilight, was a tomb of forgotten machinery and the ghosts of past operations. Rusted gears and broken conveyor belts lay dormant, relics of a bygone era. The air was thick with the scent of mildew and decay, a testament to the years of neglect. In its heart, illuminated by the cold, flickering light of a laptop, sat Revenant. His eyes, once full of life, now reflected the cold, unfeeling glow of the screen. The laptop was his only connection to the outside world, a world that had long since forgotten him. He wasn't a man anymore, not really. Cybernetic enhancements, the legacy of his last mission gone wrong, had woven metal and flesh into a grotesque tapestry. His body was a patchwork of scars and machinery, each piece a reminder of the price he had paid. They kept him alive, but at a cost. Every breath was a symphony of whirs and clicks, every movement a testament to the technology that both sustained and imprisoned him. The once simple act of breathing was now a mechanical process, a constant reminder of his altered existence. Revenant had sought anonymity in this forgotten corner of the world, but fate, it seemed, had other plans. He had hoped to disappear, to become a ghost in the machine, but the world had a way of pulling him back in. A package arrived, delivered by a ghost, and addressed simply to Revenant. The delivery was as mysterious as its contents, a silent message from the past that had found its way to him. It contained a single photograph, faded and creased with age, and a data chip, its surface scratched and worn. The photograph was a window to a forgotten time, a moment frozen in the chaos of history. The photograph showed a woman, her face obscured by shadows, standing in front of a burning cityscape. The flames danced in the background, casting an ominous glow that hinted at untold stories and hidden dangers. On the back, scrawled in hurried handwriting, were 3 words: Protocol X, stop her. The message was clear, yet shrouded in mystery, a call to action that would pull Revenant back into the world he had tried so hard to escape. The data chip, once decrypted, unfurled a story of unimaginable treachery. Protocol X, a long-forgotten Cold War project, had resurfaced. It outlined a plan so audacious, so terrifying, that it defied belief. A weapon of unimaginable power, capable of plunging the world into a new, dark age. The woman in the photograph, the chip revealed, was Vera Kostic, a former Soviet intelligence operative with a score to settle and a burning desire to see the world burn. She was the architect of Protocol X, the one pulling the strings from the shadows. Revenant felt a familiar chill crawl down his spine. This was not a fight he could walk away from. The ghosts of his past, the memories of his last disastrous mission, clung to him like a shroud. He had sworn never to let something like this happen again. He was all that stood between Kostic and the abyss, but to stop her, he would need help. Protocol X was the stuff of nightmares, a chilling spectre that haunted the corridors of power. Conceived in the dying days of the Cold War, it was a last-ditch effort to ensure victory, a desperate measure born out of fear and paranoia. A weapon to end all wars, its destructive potential was unparalleled, a force that could reshape the world order in an instant. Its details, even now, sent shivers down Revenant's spine. The more he read, the more he realized the true horror of what had been conceived. It spoke of a network of sleeper agents hidden in plain sight, embedded in the very fabric of society, ready to unleash chaos at a moment's notice. These agents were trained to blend in, to be invisible until the time came to strike. The more Revenant dug, the deeper the conspiracy went. He uncovered layers upon layers of deception, each more intricate than the last. He uncovered whispers of shadowy organizations, their influence stretching far and wide, their tendrils reaching into the highest echelons of power. These were not mere criminals. They were puppet masters, pulling the strings of global events. They moved in the shadows, manipulating global events with a precision that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring, their true motives shrouded in secrecy. Time was running out, and the stakes had never been higher. Caustic was always one step ahead, her plan unfolding with chilling precision. She was a master strategist, always anticipating the next move. Revenant knew he couldn't do this alone. The enormity of the conspiracy was overwhelming, and he needed allies. He needed to find someone who could help him navigate this labyrinth of secrets and lies, someone with the skills and knowledge to counter Caustic's machinations. He needed someone who understood the language of espionage, who could decipher the codes and signals that were hidden in plain sight, who could move unseen in the world of shadows and secrets. He needed Vera Kostic, the only person who could match wits with the masterminds behind Protocol X. Contacting Caustic was a risk, a dangerous gamble. Revenant knew that reaching out to her could expose him to unforeseen dangers, but he had no other choice. The stakes were too high and the clock was ticking. But Revenant was out of options. He had exhausted all other avenues and resources. His desperation was palpable, a man pushed to the edge with nowhere else to turn. He reached out through a series of dead drops and coded messages, each one meticulously planned to avoid detection. The complexity of his communication methods was a testament to the perilous nature of his mission. His every move cloaked in layers of digital camouflage. He used encrypted channels, dark web forums, and anonymous networks to ensure his messages remained hidden from prying eyes. Their first meeting took place in the desolate, windswept plains of Iceland, a land as harsh and unforgiving as the circumstances that brought them together. The isolation of the location mirrored the isolation they both felt in their respective battles, a fitting backdrop for their uneasy alliance. The barren landscape was a stark reminder of the desolation that awaited if they failed. Caustic was every bit as formidable as Revenant had imagined. Her reputation preceded her, and she lived up to every bit of it. She was a force to be reckoned with, a woman who had carved out her place in a world dominated by shadows. Her eyes, as blue as glacial ice, held a depth of intelligence that both intrigued and unnerved him. They were eyes that had seen too much, eyes that held secrets and stories untold. Held a depth of intelligence that both intrigued and unnerved him. He could see the wheels turning in her mind, assessing, calculating and planning. She listened to his story, her expression unreadable, a mask of calm that gave nothing away. Revenant could only hope that his words were enough to convince her of the gravity of the situation. As he laid out the details of Protocol X, the threat it posed, and his plan to stop it, he spoke with urgency, knowing that every second counted. And his plan to stop it. He painted a picture of a world on the brink, a world that needed their combined efforts to save. Their alliance was one born of necessity, a pact forged in the fires of mutual distrust. They were two sides of the same coin, each wary of the other but bound by a common goal. A pact forged in the fires of mutual distrust. They knew that trust was a luxury they couldn't afford, but cooperation was essential. They needed each other for now, their fates intertwined by the threads of a fragile alliance. Each step they took was a step into the unknown, a step fraught with danger. But Revenant knew that their partnership was a house of cards liable to collapse at the slightest tremor. The precarious nature of their alliance was ever present in his mind, liable to collapse at the slightest tremor. He was acutely aware of the fragility of their situation, knowing that one wrong move could bring everything crashing down. He just hoped that they could stop Protocol X before their fragile alliance crumbled to dust. The weight of the world rested on their shoulders, and failure was not an option.